You good? All right. All right, good morning. How's everybody? Happy second Tuesday of the month. We kind of fooled you up a little bit there, didn't we? Usually we're the first Tuesday, but the first Tuesday was 4th of July. Everybody had a good 4th of July? Yeah? All right. See, this is no different. I came from high school math teachers. This is just like when I taught high school math. I start talking, and my students still never listen, so it doesn't matter. Okay? Nothing changes. Chris, you got a playoff beard going on or what? Okay, I like it. This looks good. Okay, I like that look. All right. Let's get going. We got a lot to cover today and all sorts of things happening. So I'm going to catch you up on a few things. First of all, coffee and water are coming. I got running a little bit late, and you know what? We fooled them too. They're used to us being here on the first Tuesday of the month, and since it's the second Tuesday, they got thrown off a little bit. So coffee and water are coming. We have donuts and bagels here. That's the office meetings. You do get to have donuts and bagels. If you come to a 100K club session, then we get fruits and nuts. Yeah. All right? Okay? It's we're much healthier there. That's where the winners hang out, is at the 100K meetings and everything else. So, and we're going to eat to live and not live to eat. So, yeah, that was right. Okay, I'll make sure I said that correctly. So we're good to go. Kevin, Jim, can you tell if Jacksonville's in? All right. If not, we'll see if they're going to try. We're trying to, Kevin Hicks, you guys may or may not know, he runs our Jacksonville office. He's going to try and simulcast our office meeting in. So we'll see if he pops in there. Not that it would affect you guys at all, but, you know, this is on the internet, so people can watch this, so be careful what you say. All right. Things will be picked up. And do it because we broadcast. There are many of our agents sitting at home in their fuzzy bunny slippers right now watching the office meeting. So a little bit different today. We've got how many guys were here about a year and a half ago? He reminded me it was a year and a half ago now that we brought this gentleman in to talk about safety, but it's kind of you guys here a year and a half ago when he came? Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's really informative. I was telling the group back there, Sarah brought a bunch of friends with her, but I was telling the group back there that he's, in that year and a half, boy, it's totally, I've burned up like 2 or 3 shredders now, and you're going to find out why when he starts talking about all the things that they can get from every piece of mail that comes to you, all right? If you're not shredding everything, start shredding everything. I'm just here to tell you, because he's going to, I don't want to steal any of his thunder, but I'm doing that. And plus, he's got some really cool gadgets. Did you guys bring the gadgets this time? Some really cool gadgets. Jeanette travels some, and my son is now, he's on a debate team, so he travels. And they've got these really cool doorstop things that you put in a hotel room. So if your door opens, it triggers an alarm. Basically, it's an alarm thing. It goes off, and it's really cool. So they've got that. I've got that. What's that?
In the morning when you wake up and you forget it's there.
Yeah, that's right. It kind of gets you going. Who needs coffee, right? Exactly. When you can wake yourself up that way, it's perfect. Yeah, it's true. It is true. So never happened. I'm sure this is you have a friend that happened to, right? Exactly. Really cool flashlight that I keep in my car. I've got those because it's a seatbelt slasher, window breaker if I ever get thrown in, because if you get into a pond here, you want to be able to let the alligators get in with you, right? Okay. So you want to be able to break the windshield or break the window to get out, and it's a really good flashlight. So I've got all that stuff. I was his best client, I guarantee, last time. So he's really informative information. So we want to make sure he comes in. How many guys the email last night I sent out? Okay. About disbursement authorization changes and all that kind of stuff. There appeared to be a little bit of confusion, so let me reiterate, because I had a follow-up. I was telling over here, right, that I sent out the email right when I was getting on the plane, all right, knowing that I was going to have like an hour and a half of freedom, all right, not have to respond to all your emails. And then when I got off the plane, of course, flight got delayed. You guys had some bad storms here last night, I guess? Okay. Yeah, so we couldn't even take off from Nashville because they said, hey, there's nowhere to land. All right, it's like, hey, look, my plane was sitting there on the tarmac, but we couldn't go anywhere just because they said, hey, look, they're not allowing any landings in Tampa. So anyway, so got in late, but then I got several emails trying to clarify what I had sent out. Here's the deal. So former Keller Williams agents, right? Okay, and we got some current Keller Williams agents. We pay through a disbursement authorization. It's our preferred way to pay, right? We love it. You get your file to us, everything's done. You get $6,000 commission. We tell the title company, hey, cut $5,750 to the agent, pay Future Home Realty $250, life's hunky-dory. That's our preferred way of paying. You guys, 92% of you get a disbursement authorization ahead of time. The other 8%, all right, either one of two things happen. Either you're delaying getting us your file so you don't get a disbursement authorization, right, which is fine. I mean, so you choose to be delayed in paying, that's good, you know, whatever, it's up to you. Or you do get a DA, and there are title companies and mortgage companies out there not honoring the disbursement authorization. You guys had that? They refused to honor it. If you saw in the email, I did cut and paste from the Florida Legal Hotline the 1999 ruling from FREC, along with their finding in their order that says title companies are allowed to pay the agents directly as long as they have these 4 things. Written authorization from the broker. It describes the agent that shall be receiving the the address of the so all RDA complies with all of those things, right? So, but there are still some title companies out there who refuse to acknowledge these or won't pay. So what's been happening is you guys then bring the entire check. So instead of you walking away with closing with $5,750, the whole $6,000 is being cut to Future Home, and you're delivering it to us. Great. We normally have a 1-day turnaround on those things, all right? Because I'm a firm believer. I'm a hyper protective of your commission, right? You earn it. You ought to keep it. You ought to get paid it. You waited 45 days for the stinking closing to begin with. Now it's time to, you know what I mean? Let's get paid. Unfortunately, we are getting a rash of stop payments and more stop payments, but NSF checks from title companies. Okay? All right? Okay? A little bit of, yeah, exactly. All right? So, all right, which for you, hey, you know, that's, you know, for us when we receive, you know, $38,000 checks, okay? That can add up if they all happen to NSF at the same time, all right? So, avoiding that problem, what we're doing is we're gonna have to make an internal change, and that's all I was saying last night, is that if the entire check, if you get paid through a DA, you're good to go. First of all, you guys get paid by a DA, and knowing agents the way I do, if you're an agent like I was, all right, you got the check at 11:30 a.m., and it's in your bank account by 11:42, all right? Okay, knowing, because you've already you wrote checks 3 days ago on that, right? Okay, I get it. All right, so you had to get that in there to get that covered, so it's processed right away. What we're doing is we're seeing the checks usually 5, 6, 7, 8 days later.
Well, they're also going to the branch offices, which is a big no.
Yeah.
Wesley Chapel, Trinity, and Seminole, and Jacksonville. For some reason, the agents are telling them to send them to my branch, and they go there and they sit until someone finally realizes there's money, and then it gets forwarded to me. So it could be up to a month or 6 weeks before I get a check.
Now you would think that the agents, especially with the bigger ones.
Yeah, but some of them don't. They don't care.
I want to become one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
250 checks.
Right, exactly. Yeah, just as a quick side note, do us a favor, all right? All monies have to come to the line ball office. That's the easiest place, all right? Because that's where we process. That's the mothership, right? And so that's where we want that's where Maureen works from, and that's where she processes checks and everything else. So if you're talking to a title company and they're sending a check, a big one, or our little 250, all right? Which we understand that, by the way, too. Our little 250s a lot of times get to us 6 weeks later with coffee stains on them. Oh, I was sitting under my car seat for, you know, it's like, yeah. If the whole 8,000 was made out to us, you would have got to us in 12 minutes. But now it takes 12 weeks, all right, when it's our 250. But that being said, send them to line ball. All I was saying, though, in that our policy change, if you will, is that if the entire check is written to Future Home Realty, we're going to have to put it in our bank account, confirm that it clears, all right? Then we'll be able to reissue your check. Normally, we turn those over right away. It's just we have seen a rash of these things, all right? And Kevin, I got your email last night as well. We'll talk about that. All right. Kevin wants to create a bad list of title companies who do this, as long as he's not on the list, is what he said. Okay. Unless we're one of the offenders, then that's a terrible idea, right? Which he's not. All right. So I can vouch for that. All right. And neither is Sarah's group, and neither is David Rankin's group, and if he's here. So, so you guys are all in the safe territory. That's why you're allowed in the room. Otherwise, just so, and I'm still trying to get some clarity from my banking center, my personal banker, on how long I need to wait. All right. Actually, I think it's going to be a little less than what we thought. So I think it should be within about a 5 business day turnaround. We should guarantee, because they're giving us credit for the money right away. They're not putting a hold on it. It's just that they're taking the money back when it comes back in SF, which I understand. Okay. Or come back, stop payment, or whatever the case may be. So all that being said, the main goal, though, is we want you to get paid right away. So our preference would be that you just get a disbursement authorization and get that check into the bank within 12 minutes after having received it, right? You have a lot less chance of there being a stop payment for sure. NSF, we can't necessarily control, but we see more stop payments in NSF. And there's always a reason behind it, right? It's just, here's the other thing. Let me just implore you. I don't get a chance to talk to you guys that often, right, face to face. So let me just implore you. Obviously, in our model, when we only take $250 out of any transaction, there's kind of an implied agreement that we're teaming up on this thing, right? That the only way we can do this, people ask us all the time, right, Jim, when you're in there, it's like, hey, look, the only problem I got is how can you still be in business, right? I'd love to, I mean, it makes all sense, but how come my other broker needed to take 36% of my money and now you only need to take $250, right? Well, the answer is, A, we're very efficient in what we do. Okay, you have to be, all right? But with that thin of a margin, when we have to start touching a file like 6 times, back and forth because, oh, this file, you know what I mean? If we can have an agreement, the better we can work together, right? Then the better we can work together, and it keeps our efficiencies in place, right? Is that the more often we have to touch something, then Maureen, as much as I love her, doesn't work for free, all right? And her team get paid, hourly, and so the more hours we have to spend doing some of this stuff, it starts to eat away at our ability to do it for the $250. Are you with me? Okay, so if we can just kind of work together and make that happen, and then maybe down the road, maybe things change, and hey, look, you know what? We've come back, and now that we've instituted this in place, we haven't had an NSF or a stop payment for a year, all right? And we can maybe make some adjustments at that point. Maybe we've, taught the lessons. But ideally, though, the goal overall has always been, remember, we have our mission statement is to help Future Home Realty exists to provide real estate agents the most profitable, effective, efficient place to run their business. Right? You're running your business. Our job is to help you run it as effectively, efficiently, and profitably as possible. Right? And so part of that is getting paid quickly. And I get that. I'm on board with you 1,000%. Right? It's just that we have to make some adjustments in the meantime until we do it. But if you get your DA, you get paid. Nothing else change that for everybody.
Can I just
clear?
add something real quick to that?
Please.
Part of the partnership and not touching the file really helps us if you guys really work by our policy. When you put a listing in the MLS within 2 business days, please put your listing file in. We have, I would say probably 70% of our agents don't do that. They wait till they get a contract and dump the whole thing in. We need to have it up front. The same thing with the contract file. When you take escrow, that contract file needs to be put into paperless pipeline within 2 business days. Don't wait, please don't wait. It really puts a monkey wrench in the systems, and we want to be able to help you, and we can't if it's delayed.
Help me help you, all right? I gotta write a movie script, all right? Yeah, so and Maureen's dead on there, right? Is that we need to have that information in there, all right? So when you get we now have a designated person only handling listing files, right? I don't know if you know, we've changed our turnaround time a ton. Oh my God. Okay, like to the point of some agents are like, holy smokes, I'm still loading it, all right? Give me a chance, all right? I know I don't have that document. It's next in line, okay? Okay, it's coming. And so that's a good thing, right? We want to be very responsive, okay, to you. And hopefully we promise a 4-day business day turnaround, but reality is we're usually doing them pretty quickly, within 2 business days at most, right? And same thing with listings. We, by law, by MLS rule, have to have all our listing paperwork in place if there's something in the MLS. If we ever did get audited by MLS, they would want to know that we have our required documents in place. And quite frankly, we're getting to the size now, 1,200 plus agents strong, that things are happening, right? We've had agents pass away and things happen, and people in ICU and in comas, and now their clients want to know what's happening, and we don't have the data, right? And I get it, and I'm not trying to be, what's the word? Morbid, thank you, that's what, okay. Morbid about the whole thing, but the reality is we need to have that stuff, right? So we can properly do it. Patty?
I just made a comment.
Yep.
If it's a new agent,
Yep.
I would suggest maybe Maureen or someone suggesting that they use a transactional coordinator.
Yeah, sometimes very,
That's how I learned to help, that helped me in the beginning.
transaction coordinators are great, and if you're gonna do, by the way, if you're ever gonna plan on doing any type of business, like a lot of business, it's a really good idea to have, because that whole idea for $350 or whatever, you pay somebody to just take that whole thing off your hands, right? And you just go back out and shake some more hands, so you can get some more deals under contract, because you don't get paid to close them, you have to close them to get paid, all right? But it's hours spent, it's non-productive time actually tracking down the termite report. All right, that's what a transaction coordinator will do for you and allow you to do it and do it well. Do it better than you do anyway, right? Okay, I agree. That's great advice, Patty. So anyway, so are we clear on that? I didn't want it to come across as, hey, look, you know, I'm not reprimanding anybody, and this is certainly not a form of punishment in any way. I just want us to all work together, and my goal would be that you have your disbursement authorization to begin with, right? And that way it's even easier to work from that aspect. All right, but just so you know, if there are cases where there, and again, some of it, probably about half the time, our agents have the DA, it's just the title company and or the closing agent is not honoring that. Don't be afraid to push back, right? Cut and paste that thing that I included in the email, and then even refer them to me, all right? Because a lot of them are concerned, well, who's going to 1099 the agent? Well, it says at the bottom of our DA that we're responsible for the 1099. We get that, all right? And so we've got it all covered. They just need to read it to make sure. All right, cool? Everybody good? All right, awesome. Let's go quickly. I'm not even going to wander around. Jerry, okay, we got a really short time, so tell us who you are and what you got going on.
Jerry Papa, broker owner of Wealthy Realty Property Management, your preferred lease and property management company based in the office of Future Home Realty in West Chase. We're a full-service property management company that services all of Tampa Bay. We pay referral fees. We use a systemic cloud as our back end, so everything is protected, password-protected portal access. We also disperse through the cloud. 99% of our tenants pay through the cloud, and we promise to never steal your customer. And to go hand in hand with something that Bob just said, we had to partially change our model within the last year with regards to our property management agreements with our owners. We have, in the last year and a half, seen a growing number of rental payments that are being made by ACH directly from their bank to our system that are being called back, not just a day later, but sometimes as much as 12 and 14 days later. Now, when you manage properties throughout Tampa Bay that range in price from $800 a month to $8,000 a month, it can add up very quickly, and if you disperse too early, that money comes out of the company's pocket. Because now we're playing the game, if you will, of working with the tenant, working with the banks, et cetera, to try to recover that money back. And I gotta tell you folks, sometimes it's a royal pain in the rear end. And I don't know what's going on in the banking system, because we have talked to not only our bank, but tons of other banks out there. And I don't know, no one can give me a very distinct answer as to why this is happening. But it is unbelievable. We just had one again yesterday. Here we are in, what is today, 11 today?
11.
July? This tenant paid their rent on July 1st. And all of a sudden, $2,200 goes back to their bank, and now they're in default. How does, I guess I'm a simple-minded person. When you pay anything, the money should come out of your bank account. How the hell does it come back to the bank again 12 days later? What sense does that make? So we had to change our property management agreement with our owners that states that we will not disperse monthly funds to our owners before the 20th of each month. And we did that at the advice of counsel, because counsel believes that if we don't do that, we're putting ourselves in a position that I don't want to be in, and that's potential failure. So I hear what you're saying there, Bob,
Yeah.
because it's a very important thing, and it's part of our society today. So again, you want to consider your customer, and you want to consider the approach that we take with working with our customers. We're very professional, and we love to earn your business, as we do with many of the future home agents throughout Tampa Bay. Jerry Top of Wealthy Realty Property Management. If you'd like a rack card about our services, we have them at the table. Thank you.
Awesome, great deal. And you know, the funny thing is, you just reminded me that probably a lot of this is coming from wire fraud and everything else too. Is that the potential is that there's, you know, the ability to yank things back. It's just it's very descriptive of the society we're in right now, right? Okay, so we just have to be ultra careful, you know, because we have the wire fraud prevention notice that we have to put on there, you know, all of our files now because of, you know. Crooks are smart, all right? So smart that if they ever applied those to a very valid industry, they'd probably be very successful. Well, exactly, see? Right? It's the truth. So, you know, it's just, we got to find the workarounds as we go. So, thanks, Jerry. Brian.
Brian Brown with Republic Home Warranty, the warranty that actually covers R22, all of it, and we also cover the Florida mandate for a C replacement, which means we need to pay for both components if we have to replace an R22 for a 410A. And since it's warning day, let me give you another warning. Do not use internet-only companies. Choice. I just got a call from one of my agents who said, hey, one of my customers got choice warranty. They just got a call or we just got a letter that said they no longer have a warranty, that they're out of business. So be really careful about using internet companies. If there's not a rep out there representing them, and they don't belong to the board of realtors, and they don't, probably not a good use them. And check their rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're the only one that has an A+ rating. So anyway.
Awesome.
Brian Brown with Republic. If I can help you, let me know.
Brian's a great guy. So thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
What do you got going on?
A bunch of stuff. I'll just bust through it real quick.
Perfect.
I think everyone knows I'm Kevin Overstreet. I'm the owner of Assure Title, right next door to your Linebaugh office, and the director of Synergy Title in Madera Beach, and also the founder of the Become a Better Agent training program, which I hate talking about, as you know. Real quick on the NSF checks from the title companies, I'm actually putting together a class. I've taught this a couple times on when you are the buyer's agent and you're working with the seller's chosen title company. There's a couple things you can do to make sure their escrow account is sound, that it's not negative. A couple very simple things you can request or even require. And you should make it a requirement for your buyer to put their money and their lender to put your buyer's money into that account. You should have a sneak peek at that account. So I'll be telling everyone how to do that. But there's really just a couple things that they have to do every single month that attorneys who close don't have to do, by the way. So important stuff. More to come on that. Tomorrow is a social media boot camp. I've got a few flyers here. It's at the Baltimore Public Library, which has this awesome room that seats 90 people classroom style. And it's class 1 of 4 being put on by some really smart people, one of our lending partners, Security National Mortgage. The 21st BABA meeting will be either August 8th or 9th. It's going to be our Realtor Safety and Crime Prevention edition, so I'm super interested to hear from these folks today.
Yeah.
I may recruit them for that meeting. We're going to require that everybody bring some school supplies. We're going to donate that to one of the public high schools. And August 3rd, one of our partners is bringing in this really sharp guy named Steve Richmond, and he's going to be teaching a 2-hour class, and the details they're on Facebook now, and I'll be sending them to everybody. And that's going to be at Rusty Pelican. And I want to introduce a couple people. First and foremost, of course, is this lovely lady, my latest and newest employee. This is my daughter, Claire.
Nice, very good. Does he pay well? Yes. All right, very good.
Yeah, not bad. She now has a car and needs more money, so.
There you go. Absolutely.
I guess the interview process was pretty easy for her. But she's a full-time receptionist for us now. I have my friend Jim Capizio here. He's just a guest checking you all out.
Awesome.
He's been in a few different business roles throughout the last few years, and he's going to join the real estate agent community. And he said, "Where do I go?" And I said, "You'll be here." So,
awesome. Nice. Glad to have you, Jim.
And then who I'm really excited to introduce you to is Sean Dunlap. Sean is the guy in charge for this area, the Central Florida area, for Wayne Journey Homes. They are the fastest growing private home builder in America, and they just started here. Assure Title is their exclusive title agency, and they're an official blah partner, and they've asked me to help them really develop their network of quality agents. We've done a couple meetings with a bunch of the FHR folks and some other people. I know Esther has property under contract with them already. Their first effort is in Springfield/Brooksville, and there's some events that we're going to do there. On the 22nd of this month is going to be an open house at one of the job sites. Details are on Facebook, and on the 16th of next month, so August 16th, it's going to be a big party. It's the Dusty Shoe Preview and Sneak Peek. So we're going to get 50 or so realtors to come to their job site and tour that with Sean and the other Sean, who's in charge of 3 states. Probably 4 by now. He's moving up pretty quick. So we're going to check out the job site, learn what these folks are all about, and then after that, go to their studio office. It's about a 3,000 square foot facility that's near completion now. They don't do model homes. What they do is they put a retail, they put a showroom, if you will, next to a high traffic retail area like Target, which is where this is. So that's going to be on the 16th, and then after that, we're going to be doing at that same place weekly, every Wednesday, lunch meetings, and all agents are invited. The cost of admission is you have to bring buyers so that they can check out these properties. We probably have 10 or so contracts with these folks already, and we're talking brand new homes for 130 to 150 to 160.
Nice.
And they're legal and property. So Sean, if you want to say something.
Yeah, Sean, you want to tell us a little bit what you got?
Yeah, sure, real quick. We build spec homes, like I said, we're in Springfield right now in the San Ridge community. Our price range is $138,990 to $198,990, so we're really targeting that first-time home buyer. No CDD debt and $425 annually HOA. So if you guys want more information, just give me your card at the end of this, and then I will send you an email with our standard feature sheet, our list, like just our available homes list, and our approved lenders list.
Perfect.
Their earnest money deposit when you're pre-qualified with one of their preferred lenders, $95.
Nice.
And they contribute $1,000 to closing costs.
Very good.
It's a different type of builder. They're not competing with realtors. They want help with realtors, and this is the group that I'm putting in front of them.
Perfect.
Very realtor friendly.
Yeah, they're going to be presenting at Wabash 21 in early August at a location.
Awesome. Beautiful. Wealth of information. By the way, Kevin mentioned a bunch of stuff. Our calendar, if you go to FHR, check out the calendar. Calendar is chock full, right? If you're on the 100K group page, it's also posted at the top. It's pinned to the top post in the 100K Facebook page. Chock full. Now, a lot of it, what I did is I went through and looked at stuff that we're doing and other people are doing, but also, you know what? How many of you guys love paying board dues? Love it. Okay, and think so. All right. So because of that, since you're going to have to pay them anyway, because they're kind of a monopoly, all right? They have you know, you want the MLS? All right? Come pay me, right? So they're kind of a monopoly, but let's take advantage of what they do offer, because there's some good stuff going on, all right? You go to their calendar. I started pulling stuff from different boards, and we're a member of, I mean, trust me, you don't like paying board dues, I'm a member of 15, all right? Okay, so I'm pulling from all over these different places, you know, but there's some really good information being dispensed at our local boards, all right? Some really good stuff. So pay attention, like, oh, I'm struggling with, like RPR, Real Property Resource. You guys, you know, how do I do a really good CMA? If you aren't familiar with RPR, you need to go get RPR, CPR trained, right? Okay, do it all at one shot. You can probably get CPR in the morning and RPR in the afternoon, all right? Bet you can. All right, so I'm just telling you, RPR, man, that stuff it bores down, right? It gives you the true facts behind it, man. It is some really good information. A lot of agents just like, you know, what's it worth? All right, the appraiser's going to throw a dart at the wall, so why shouldn't I? Okay, and I get it, but the reality is the more information you can have and prove yourself against the Z estimate, right, and that you have the true data and they don't, all right, that is where you differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Pat?
I used the generated RPR stuff for a house that I had listed slightly above the going rate.
Yeah.
And it appraised.
Yeah.
Because I left it for the appraiser to show the market.
Yeah.
They don't have to do their own research when it's not me writing into something, my
Sure.
opinion. It is market analysis of that property and of that location.
Yeah. And RPR, it integrates public records as well as MLS. It does a really good job of bringing it all together, because now you're missing some stuff. If you're only searching the MLS, you're missing some valid sales that are valid stuff that could increase the value.
And I'm a major geek, I actually do some statistics, so I understand that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can make these reports your own, make them big, small, as detailed. You find one of the couple you're dealing with is a real detail person, here you go. The other person, real picture, here you go.
So you're pretty familiar with RPR.
No, not at all. No.
I smell a class coming on, don't you? I smell See? She knows me already. That was a loaded question. That's good. All right. But seriously, take advantage of not only RPR, but take advantage of all the stuff our boards offer. They do a really good job. Pro, GTAR. Tonight at GTAR, Tom Scaglione's not here, but they have the tech user group. Meets the second Tuesday of every month, 5 to 7. They serve pizza, and they just do different topics, and they bring real geeky people, all right, to come in. And generally. All right, they bring real geeky people to come in and help share what's going on. Why not go learn, right? It's just, that is, people, here's the thing. 6% is a lot of money, whether you believe it or not. 6% of $200,000 is 12 grand. Sometimes that represents the entire equity that these people have in their home, and you're welcoming with a smile on your face and say, I'd like to just remove that 12 grand right from your hands, right? Well, why? Right? Well, because I can put it in the MLS and make sure you have enhanced features on Realtor.com and put a lockbox on. Okay, great. Google that, and I'll find somebody that'll do it for 99 bucks. Right now. Licensed, virtual tour, everything. In the MLS, enhanced, Realtor.com, boom, boom, boom. So what are you doing for the other 11,901 bucks? Right? You better learn to give you a value proposition to the client, right? Because if your value proposition is, I'll put a sign in and a lockbox on and make sure it's in the MLS, all right? Ain't enough, right? You could be able to justify who you are and what you're charging. Fair enough? All right, and things like this that I can bore down and I'm going to overcome a low appraisal because I know what I'm doing, that is where you add value, right? That's where your money comes in. Cool? All right? So check out our calendar. It's loaded. We'll talk about 100K here in a second because it's going to launch in August. Sarah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
All right.
Hi, I'm Sarah Hammond with Equity National Title, and I'm teaching the Facebook class here today immediately following this meeting.
It's a great class, by the way.
Typical techie class. It is a prospecting class because this is a relationship business.
Yes, it is.
We can't hide behind our computers and grow our business, but we can use Facebook to grow our relationships. So that's what I'm going to teach on today. I have some guests here, Jason Hayes with Keller Williams, Jay McLeod with Blade Real Estate, Mark Middleton with Keller Williams, and Tiffany Obenreiter. And I'm not going to talk about myself. I want to give Tiffany a shout out. She's with State Insurance.
Awesome.
She is amazing. She saved so many of my realtors money and has even done stuff for me personally. She's amazing. So welcome, Tiffany.
Well, Tiffany, tell us what you do then.
So I own an independent agency. We have about 30 carriers, so we say we have a market for everything. We love our relationships with our realtors. We just really want to enhance your process or your transaction for your buyers and your sellers as well. So we offer same-day quoting and we have awesome rates. So
Homeowners exclusively?
home, auto, and business. So
Okay.
commercial as well.
Awesome. Very good. Guys, it's imperative to have a team, right, in place that some go-to people that, even if the clients choose not to use them, you have some go-to. You know what? You think that the insurance person is critical to the mortgage person?
Yeah.
Hello, if we're like here's our thin waiver line that we're walking on our debt to income ratio, right? And you think a quote of $1,800 a year for insurance versus $2,800 a year for insurance might make a difference in that qualifying for a mortgage? I think the answer is yes, right? So you got to have some people that you work with that you trust. Hey, don't tell me $1,800 just for the sake of telling me $1,800. Make it legitimate, right? But let me know, hey, I got a quote for like $900. Is this even, doesn't seem right? Well, it's because it's not right. And at the end of the day, oh yeah, did I say 900? I meant 2,700, you know, and now you're scrambling at the end of the day trying to figure it out, right? So, and if they do tell you 900, bind it right now. Quick, 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 right? Or actually, don't bind it because they're probably going to be out of business. Like Brian said, they're an internet company, right? And they'll be out of business next month. So that being said, Sarah.
Can I add something?
You may.
Speaking of referral partners.
Yes.
Madison with American Bankshares Mortgage is going to be bringing in lunch for our lunch and
Oh, people weren't going to stay, but now they're staying. I'm telling you now.
bananas. We bring in lunch.
Okay, all right. It's not bananas and oranges. Come on, you guys are all right. There actually will be carbs at 11:45. All right. Okay, so you're allowed to stick around for carbs. All right. Carbs are coming. Actually, we got carbs today, so we're good. All right. Awesome. Well, nice to meet you, Tiffany. And make sure you guys get one of her cards. You have information out someplace, or
I'll send some.
okay. Perfect. Good deal. All right. Going around vendors real quickly before we bring up our guest. So 100K is going to launch in August. Here's what we're going to do. If you remember, we're going to do things a little bit differently. How many of you guys been to 100K before? All right. Here's the deal. The first 2 sessions aren't going to change. Because in the first 2 sessions, we lay the groundwork, and it's not about telling you what to do in 100K, because quite frankly, you know what to do. You really do. All right? And that's why it doesn't change, because it's no different. You guys have heard me say this 100 times. Getting business today is no different than it was when the guy who fixed chariots in Babylon tried to get business. All right? It's the same. You deliver a quality product, you fix the chariot well, right? And then you let other people tell. Right? That's all we do, right? So sales is not some trick, it's not some script, it's not some magic pill, it's none of that. A lot of it, though, is who we are as people, right? Because if we're going to attract business as opposed to have to chase it, and that's what we teach in 100K, is we want to attract business, not go around trying to chase it all the time, right? Well, then sometimes we need to change some things about us to make us more attractive, right? And so that's what we cover a lot, especially in those first 2 sessions. We kind of lay out the groundwork. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to teach 2 sessions in Tampa, all right? It's a second or third week. I have to look at the exact dates. We'll put it out there soon. A night session and a morning session in Tampa. Going to do one in Orlando and one in Jacksonville, all in that same week, right? We're going to launch them. Then 2 weeks later, we're going to come back and do the same thing. Because what happens is the first one, a lot of people come and then some people miss. Oh, my kids were just getting back into school and everything else. I get it. And or people are there like, wow, I didn't know this is what this is all about. I need my friend to come along with me. So then they end up bringing. So we cover a lot of times the same stuff almost in the second session that we did the first session, because we're reintroducing a whole new group of people. After that, for my sanity, all right. From there on out, we're going to do Wednesday mornings. We're going to do a live simulcast in a different spot. I'm going to be live in one spot on a Wednesday morning. Okay? Clearwater, Orlando, Jacksonville. Clearwater, Orlando, Jacksonville. All right? Other than that, though, we're going to set up groups, like little small groups, all right, that you guys can meet around town, wherever it is. And we're going to, I don't know if we're going to even do Facebook Live, whatever we're going to do to make sure that it's available so we can all dialogue and interact, all right, and still do that. But those last 6 sessions are all going to be about implementation. So if you've come to the first 2,
Are you going to record those final ones so people who can only do something at night?
we're going to work, we'll see. It's possible. And if Jim's there, yes. What about Facebook Live in my Facebook class people? Does that like stay forever? Can we go back and revisit that?
You can keep it forever.
Okay, so yeah, we'll probably be on Facebook Live, so you have to go back and revisit that, Pat. I'm glad you're very interested in my answer to that.
I am.
Okay. I'm just teasing you. Go sell a deal. Buy low, sell high. All right. Okay. That being said, but the last 6 sessions are all about implementation. Because here's the thing: me telling you what to do. All right, you stop showing up because you know that you haven't been doing. All right, and you're too embarrassed to show up. All right, because you know what to do, but you're not doing. And to know and not to do is not to know. Right? Chew on that one for a little bit. All right, make that scroll 11. Okay? To know and not to do is not to know. So we're going to focus a lot on doing. All right? We're actually going to go do some things. So we're going to kind of put you out of your comfort zone a little bit, maybe doing some role playing, making sure that we're really trying to fix some problems that you're experiencing out in the marketplace.
Not
right?
Law and Order.
What's that?
Not Law.
Not Law and Order. Not Law and Order reruns doesn't cut it. All right, I tried it. All right, my business never grew when I was watching Law and Order reruns. Okay, I tried. All right, but it didn't work. All right, so I had to go out and do some things. All right, make it happen. So that's our goal. So pay attention to that. We're going to wander around. We're going to make it. We're going to maybe have some groups, and we'll just different spots. We meet at different offices within Future Home if you want to meet to watch it. If I'm not in town doing the live session, if I'm in Orlando, and same thing with them, and we'll just kind of wander around. It's just going to be better for all of us, I think. So fair enough. Good deal. All right, if you've never been to 100K, come check one out. It's totally different. It's my Keller Williams visitors. It's the unbold. All right. Okay. First of all, it's not like Bold because we don't charge $850. All right. That's number one. Okay. Second way, it's not like Bold because we're not going to say, well, what's today? Tuesday? Today's chiropractor day. All right. Let's all go bang the phones and hit our chiropractors. All right. Okay. You know, by the 8th time, you're like, gee, man, what's going on over there? The chiropractor. I'm trying to adjust somebody, and I've got my 15th phone call from a realtor. All right. So hang on. Okay. So it's just a little bit different. Aspect of how we attack the business, all right? Very valid. The Cushmans are here with their newest addition. Want to introduce that newest addition to us? Look at her. She is adorable. What's her name? Marissa. How old now?
2.5 months.
2.5 months. Awesome. It's great to see you guys. She looks great. Beautiful. She's beautiful. That's awesome. Cool. All right. You ready, sir?
I'm ready.
All right. You know he's a guest speaker because he has a tie. All right. First name again?
Brian.
Okay, so Brian came I thought it was about a year ago. It's actually been 1.5 years. All right. I'll let him tell you about what he does, but it was incredibly informative. Give him your attention because it's going to be very eye-opening for you. Now, this is not a microphone, but it is allowing us to get it to the internet. Okay. So if you can strap it, or
you didn't tell me how it's going to be on the internet.
See, look at that. You know, you never know when you're being on the internet. I live my life that way.
All right. Well, hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian McNeil, and I am a crime prevention practitioner designated by the Florida State Attorney General's office. And we actually work hand in hand with all local law enforcement agencies, both in training and educating with all of the officers that work in crime prevention, as well as trying to train and educate as many citizen groups and professional organizations and citizens, period, to the effective measures that you can take as citizens that will help law enforcement keep you safe at home as well as when you're out and about. As we all know, we've probably all said it at least once in our life. I know I've heard it 1,000,000 times. There's never a cop around when you need one. You ever heard this or said it before? Let me explain a little bit about why this is. In the state of Florida, there is actually only 1.22 law enforcement officers per every 1,000 people across our state. And I haven't seen a .22 deputy yet. You let me know if you see one out there. The FBI says to effectively police and control any society, it takes 3.25 officers per 1,000 people. So that kind of tells you where the numbers are at. But what it doesn't tell you, in Florida, our numbers only include permanent residents. Does not include the influx we get every year in the winter month from the north. Does not include the 3 million tourists estimated to visit this state every month in the tourism industry. During the winter months, with our northern population, which we can kind of calculate, we actually go down to 0.085 to 0.09 officers per 1,000 people. Average city police in this state every day patrols anywhere from a 6 to a 12 square mile grid every day on a shift. County sheriffs in our state patrol anywhere from 12 up to 28 square mile grids every day on a shift. The highway patrol can patrol anywhere from 25 on a low side all the way up to 88 square miles of the state roads and interstates every day on a shift. Kind of hard to spread yourself over that big of a territory. Little things you do make a big difference. We're going to try and teach you what does and doesn't work. The green and white sheet, the green sheet is yours to keep. If you don't have a green and white sheet, please raise your hand. My partner will get you one out. The white sheet is my report card. You get to grade me at the end. Please be kind when you're filling that one out. Also, I will tell you, the state task force, we are now a private consulting company with the state of Florida. We were all state officers and employees of the state until 6.5 years ago when Rick Scott was elected office the first time. One of the first programs the governor came in and cut out of the state crime budget was the crime prevention program. We had some major manufacturers immediately step up and say, we'll fund this program if you keep it going. So now I work as a private consultant doing the exact same job I did for 14.5 years as a state officer. They pay me a lot more money. They did away with all of our medical and retirement plans. To give you a little history on myself so you know I do know what I'm talking about. Born in Newport News, Virginia at Langley Air Force Base. I'm a military brat. My dad got command at MacDill back in '68. I grew up in a little town called Brandon, Florida when Brandon was a cow town. When we moved out there, State Road 60 was a 2-lane road and there was 1 red light in all of Brandon. Now it is a 10-lane road and there are 2 red lights on every corner in Brandon. I went into the military myself at 17 years old into the elite Army Airborne Rangers. I spent 4.5 years with the 2nd Rangers, recon platoon as a combat medic. I spent 1.5 years as a hand-to-hand combat instructor at Ranger School, Fort Benning, Georgia. My last 2.5 years in the military at the 82nd Airborne Division as the combat medic and bodyguard of the commanding general of the 82nd Airborne Division. August 26, 1986, involved in a near-fatal parachute accident during a training mission. Fell 175 feet with a partial chute. Broke both my legs and 5 vertebrae in my back. Spent the next 19 months at Walter Reed undergoing 17 operations to repair 78 broken bones with 22 pieces of metal. Medically discharged and retired from the military, transferred to Shands in the VA hospital up in Gainesville. Spent the next 11 months learning how to re-walk again. All my life, I planned on going in the military, doing my 20 years, coming out and working for the Hillsborough County Sheriff. My uncle was actually the sheriff of Hillsborough from 70 to 82. Malcolm Beard, if y'all lived in the area for a while, was my uncle. Had a deputy 2 doors down from me growing up as a kid. Between my uncle and that deputy, used to get a lot of ride-along time in cop cars. Since I was 5, I always wanted to be a deputy. Unfortunately, the injuries I sustained serving our country, I wasn't able to go into active duty or line law enforcement, so I became an educator in the field. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from the University of Florida, and go Gators, and I have my practitioner's designation from the Florida Crime Prevention Training Institute, which is ran by the State Attorney General's office. That was actually another 120 hours of education after my bachelor's in basic, residential, and commercial crime prevention applications. And every 3 years to keep my designation, I have to go through a 24-hour update course. Unfortunately, last year my update was scheduled for November 4th, and I lost my mother on October 20th, so I missed my update, so until I get it done this December, I can't wear my uniforms. Then May 11th of 2000, on my way home from a crime prevention program, when we were state officers, I was in an unmarked Concorde, heard a stolen vehicle pursuit coming at me on the radio, and I decided to pull into the intersection and stop all the intersection traffic so the pursuit could roll through, because it was 5:30 in the afternoon on a Friday afternoon in Brandon, Florida. Unfortunately, the 16-year-old in the stolen car was a half a mile ahead of the first pursuit vehicle. He whipped around the traffic, I whipped around the traffic, we met in the middle in a head-on collision. He was doing 112, I was doing 45 in the other direction. Took him 1 hour and 12 minutes to cut and extricate me out of the patrol car. They flighted back to Tampa General Hospital, where I spent the next 22 months undergoing 7 more surgeries to repair 38 more broken bones with 12 more pieces of metal. And yes, before you ask, I do set off metal detectors everywhere I go. Everybody asks, I cover that. I will also tell you after the 3 facial reconstruction surgeries, because I actually ate the steering wheel about 1/2 inch into both my eye sockets. I actually developed a problem with narcotic pain medication, had to take a 2-year medical leave of absence from the task force, put myself into an inpatient treatment program for 6 months and an extensive 18-month outpatient. But by the grace of God and with the help of a 12-step fellowship, with 104 broken bones, 34 pieces of metal holding me together, and 43 major operations endured through my life, I haven't used any narcotic pain medication since February 4th of 2007. But I can tell you, thank you, but I can tell you, in those 3 years they had me on those narcotics, I see narcotics do things to me that as a man of integrity my entire life, never thought I'd have been capable of. It actually cost me an 18-year marriage. I have been able to rebuild and repair the relationship with my children and the rest of my family, and me and my ex at least talk now. Narcotics is probably one of the biggest problems. It's what's driving most of the crimes in this country, and especially violent crimes through the roof. It's what we're going to try and teach you how not to become the victim. We're going to cover the top 5. Number 1 crime has been since '08 is identity theft. All of this table over here is on identity theft. There's an exact table just like it back there. The basics are in the one handout that you have, what to know, what to do, what not to do. First, don't ever give credit, personal, or identity information over an incoming or inbound call, incoming or inbound email, or incoming or inbound text message, period. I don't care who they say they are, where they say they're calling from, or where the email or text message said it came from. In the older days on the phones, they would play the Sheriff's Association or the PBA or the Highway Patrol or the firefighters, the Red Cross. How many of y'all have gotten them calls? Nowadays on the phones, they're being pretty specific. They're playing Microsoft, they're playing the IRS, and they're playing your banks. First, Microsoft has 5 billion customers in this world and does not have an outbound call center. They only have inbound call for tech support. And if you've ever called that number, you've waited on hold for 20 to 30 minutes before you spoke to a live person. That's how backed up they are. They're not trying to call anybody to stop a virus from attacking your computer. As a matter of fact, they sell computers. They want a virus to attack yours, so you got to buy a new one. Second, the IRS contacts nobody by telephone. They contact everybody through the U.S. mail. And if it's about an audit, it's going to come to you certified mail. I know this from personal experience. They're not about to send the sheriff or the police to your house to arrest you. That is a scare tactic. They are not able to accept a 25% payment over the phone via credit card and wipe out the rest of your IRS debt. I wish. As a matter of fact, they can't accept a credit card payment for an IRS debt, period. If you pay the IRS, you got to pay them with a personal check or a money order if it's under 10 grand, and a cashier's check or a certified funds check from your bank if you owe more than $10,000. Last, your banks have millions of customers and only 1,000 or so employees. They don't have the manpower to call everybody. What the bank does do, and it is normally computer generated, they'll send you a letter to your house, an email to your email, and a text message to your cell phone if they have it on file, saying we are seeing suspicious or fraudulent activity on this account or on this card on this account, and we need you to come into or contact your local branch immediately. And that means just that. Come into or contact your local branch. I always challenge people, if you do not have a branch manager's card from the bank you bank with, they have all your money and you don't have a point of contact there. Kind of silly, don't you think? Next time you go to the bank, get a branch manager's card. If you got to call your bank, don't ever call a number on the email or the text message, because the criminals got wind of how the banks were notifying you and started developing fake emails and text messages that look just like they came from your bank because they cut and paste the top and bottom of the banking page over to it. Best way to call your bank, take out your bank card. Flip it onto the back, call the customer service number, and print it on the back of your card until you get a card from a manager. But the next time you go to the bank, take 5 minutes and go in and get one. Second, 75% of identity theft could be stopped if you as citizens would start shredding all those pre-approved applications you're receiving through the mail. What do you shred? Everything. Me and him were talking about it earlier. I burn up a shredder every 3 months. Okay? Everything that comes through your mailbox that says pre-approved on it needs to go through a shredder. But make sure you're shredding the envelope it comes in and the return address envelope. Because a lot of times your information is on the envelope. It's on the computer-generated barcode at the bottom of your address label. Also, with your magazine subscriptions, you throw away or donate or put into the recycling bin after you've read them, rip off the corner that has the address with the barcode. At minimum, the barcode on the magazine has the credit card you ordered the magazine subscription with. It's how they do annual renewal without your permission. The latest way they're getting your information is from the healthcare industry. And this is one we not only want you to know, but please spread this among your family and friends, because this is about 65 to 70% of how they're perpetrating identity theft. Did you know that your prescription bottle coming from the pharmacy that has the barcode on it, and the bag that your prescriptions come in with all your medications, and the drug interaction form and the receipt stapled to the outside, and the drug interaction form has that big long barcode across the top? Let me tell you what's on that barcode. All of your health insurance carrier provider information, which includes your date of birth, social security number, credit card you pay your medical copays with, and your primary health insurance carrier account number. So, when you first come home from the pharmacy, first thing we want to do is get a pair of scissors, cut off the barcode off the drug interaction form, put it through your shredder. You might want to keep the drug interaction form around to kind of know what to expect from the medications you're about to start taking. But immediately cut the barcode off. Then when you're done with your prescription, before you throw the empty bottle in the trash, either peel the label off and put it through your shredder, or I get VA prescriptions, so they're glued to the bottle. So what I do, I take a black Scrippy marker and I black out the barcode in both directions, and then I black out all my personal information before I throw the empty bottles in the trash. Barcodes were actually developed for the medical industry. So wherever you went in the country, they could scan your barcode, know your medical conditions, any special conditions, your doctor and hospital, your emergency contact persons, all your medicines that you're on, and any allergies that you might have. The problem now is you can get a barcode reader on any smartphone. And that's how easy criminals get information off barcodes. So you need to think anything with a barcode is potentially having some or all of your information on it. The last thing is you got to start checking your full credit reports once a year. And that does not mean getting your score from Credit Karma or one of the cards you have in your wallet. That means checking your written reports once a year. At the top, you're checking for inquiries, which is your first indicator. If you or your spouse have not filled out a credit app anywhere in 6 months, there should be 0 inquiries. If you see a whole bunch of inquiries, somebody's filling out credit apps with your information. Consequently, you always want to check it at the bottom, make sure there are no open accounts you're unaware of. Too many inquiries, any open accounts. On that one sheet you have, on the right-hand side are the 3 credit bureaus' trouble numbers. How to dispute and get errors removed off. Now I'm going to go through the rest of these real quick. What I'm going to suggest you do is come up and take one of every one. But I'll tell you, I teach on this, and I have for 20 years. I've been the victim of identity theft twice in the last 8. 2008, I was audited by the IRS down in Tampa. That year, I owed them an extra $138, which I gladly paid them. Well, I pay them, not gladly. That year, after everyone's audits, they took some 1,100 people's information and threw them into their dumpsters outside of their building. The next year, they sent a $10,000 return check in my name to an apartment over off of Skipper Road I never even knew existed. I had to hire a law firm and an investigating firm. First, to prove to the IRS I never cashed that $10,000 return check. Second, that it was their fault my information got disseminated. Got together the other 1,100 people, fought a class action suit, battled them for 3 years in court, and beat them. They had to reimburse me that 10 grand plus the 11 grand I had spent out of my pocket. Every year since I beat them in court, they have audited me. 2013, Target let 2 million people's information get compromised during a data breach in November. After the Target thing happened, and you're talking about someone who teaches on this, has a doctorate in it, and was checking his accounts 4 times a day, 6 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and midnight. And they still got me twice. After the Target thing happened, I gave up. I hired Legal Shield, which is the one state and federal employees are recommended to use. LifeLock, the one you see on TV, both great programs, both have $9.95 individual plans. The reason I went with Legal Shield over LifeLock is Legal Shield gives you $5 million worth of coverage, LifeLock $1 million. But I also have 3 kids, and Legal Shield has a $19.95 family plan, which covers the husband, the wife, and up to 6 children for $19.95. I actually went to their $35 plan, which ties in prepaid legal services with Legal Shield's protection. Now, anything happens, they pay the law firm, they pay the investigating firm. And I can tell you, after what happened to me with Target, Legal Shield, about a month ago, Chipotle got violated. I eat at Chipotle a lot because they give half price to law enforcement. They had canceled my card from USAA Bank, had another card in the mail, and already disputed the 2 charges 2 days before it ever hit the national news. So, if you'd like some information, at the bottom of the white sheet, little block says Legal Shield, check the block. You've won, but you got to pay to get it. Paying too much. This is a new one. You overpaid a bill off, and we need an account number to put your money back in. You ever overpay a bill off? The grandparent scam, the money wiring scams, how to recover from identity theft, how to avoid identity theft. Child identity theft is the #1 actually right now. If you got kids, you need to get this, and you need to lock down their socials, and you need to attach the proper date of birth to their social immediately and then lock it down. It is actually estimated 64% of Americans will have destroyed credit for their 18th birthday through no fault of their own. The phone scams have gotten so prevalent, electronic banking, I'm going to move to the back row. If you want to do your free credit report request through the mail, it's got a mail-in application with the 3 credit bureaus' addresses. If you are can I get my veterans to raise your hands in the room real quick? We have an extra one. It says for military personnel and family. The reason we have an extra one is some numbskull in the Department of Veteran Affairs in 04 left his office open over the weekend. 2 laptops stolen out of that office contained over 22 million veterans, their spouse, and all their dependent children's names, date of birth, and socials. How to get your credit score up? The miracle health claims of all those dietary supplements, what works, what doesn't work, what's been proven not to work so you don't waste your money on it. Lost, stolen credit, debit, ATM cards. Talks about making a file with all your credit card numbers and the corresponding 1-800 number off the back, keeping it in a safe or a safety deposit box. That way if you're out and about, purse gets stolen, you get mugged, you get robbed, you can go home to that file, call all those numbers, report the card stolen immediately. Paying final respects, sending certified death certificates to all 3 credit bureaus upon your spouse passing. Did you know that is actually your duty and obligation to do that? Shopping for prepaid funeral services and living life online. If you are on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, or Instagram, please get this publication and make it your first read. It's going to teach you little things like going into your settings and marking all your personal information private. It's also going to teach you little things like do not post you are going on vacation or you're on vacation while you're there, because the criminals will go to your home city, get your address, and break into your house, and you'll come home to an emptier house than when you left it. Okay? If you'd like it, take one of every one. Take as much of this stuff as you want. The Federal Trade Commission sends 37 cases to my house every week. It ain't funny. I cannot park a car in my 2-car garage right now. Help yourself. Number 2 crime. Number 1 for 35 years is auto theft and auto burglary. Last year in this country, cars stolen or burglarized every 14 seconds. Last year in the state of Florida, cars stolen or burglarized every 10 minutes. Last year in this state, 52% of the cars stolen were stolen with the keys in the vehicle. And 84%, up from 75%, 84% of the cars burglarized last year in this state weren't burglarized. They went through an unlocked door or an open window. That is a problem that y'all can really help law enforcement out with. Please take the keys out of your cars. And please lock your cars everywhere you go. Try and remove your valuables at night if you park out in driveways. And by valuables, we mean electronics and weapons. Try and remove valuables you do not need before you go to the grocery store, mall, shopping centers, and gyms. And probably the biggest place where having auto burglaries occur is someplace you enter every day. The convenience stores and the gas stations, out by the gas pumps especially. So we want you to get into the habit of when you're pulling into a gas station or convenience store, start rolling up all your windows. Get out to pump your gas, take your keys out, push your lock button, then go pump your gas. We also cover some for DOT and Department of Highway Safety. Very simple, very serious. Do not drive through water of unknown depth. Why are we covering this? Because y'all are still doing it. 2012, 26 people across the state drowned in their vehicles. 2013, 41 people across the state of Florida drowned in their vehicles. 2014, 137 people across this state drowned in their vehicles. 2015, across the entire country, 425 drowning deaths. Florida accounted for 222 of the 425. Over half the whole country's total came from this state. Now, that's getting out of hand. My question to the DOT guy, how do you know it is unknown depth? He said it's real simple. We're going to teach you, you're going to teach the 300,000 people you speak to. And I'm going to ask y'all to share this among your family and friends. Did you know that the white line that striped the outside of the road and the yellow line that striped the middle of the road, the reflective paint stripe all the roads? Did y'all know that paint is designed to show through 18 inches of water? Did you know that? Now you know. Can't see the stripes? There's that much or more water covering the road. That much water is going to lift you off the road every time. Stop, turn around, don't drown. They also recommend that all vehicles in the state of Florida should have what they call extraction flashlights. We call them emergency flashlights. They got to do 3 things. Break auto glass, cut your seatbelt off, and work in 15 foot of water. I add one to that, and that is be accessible from the driver's seat area. Because then we spent 4 hours of our training day looking at 25 different flashlights. 5 of them were so big they had to go in the trunk of the car. 11 of them had to go in the glove box on the other side of the vehicle. I'm like, what good's it doing you over there or back there if you're stuck in your driver's seat alone over here? Guy's like, that's a good point. 9 flashlights passed all the criteria. You can find them in any of the following local stores. We don't care where you get one, just get one. Harbor Freight has one, Kmart has one, Lowe's and Home Depot each have one, Target had 2, Walmart had 2. AAA Motor Club made the one we all agreed was probably the best one we've seen. It's a little titanium steel flashlight designed to fit in the center console or in the driver's side door pocket. On one end it has a window brake and a seatbelt cutter. But you can't cut yourself with the blade. All you do is feed the seatbelt in and pull down, shoulder strap in and pull across. On the other end, it has an LED light that'll work in 15 foot of water. In case you find yourself up the creek without the paddle, you can see your way out. Now, you can get these in the AAA stores in the emergency road hazard section. They normally run $35. Kind of right in the middle price range. Cheapest lights we've seen passed all the tests. Harbor Freight and Kmart, $20 each. Most expensive ones passed all the tests. Lowe's and Home Depot, $45 each. Target and Walmart had one for $25, one for $35. AAA's was at $35. The reason we all voted on the AAA one, 2 reasons really. One, it was the only one of 25 that was still made out of steel. It's actually made out of lightweight titanium steel, which I can personally attest holds up very well through the years. 2, AAA is notorious for what? Safety products. As soon as we approved AAA's light, AAA came to the state task force. They said as a public service and as a community service to try and get the death toll going in the other direction, at the task force programs, they would make their lights available wholesale to the public for $20, which was what the cheapest 2 lights at Harbor Freight and Kmart cost. So if you don't have one in your car and you'd like to get one today, I got a box of them here, he's got a box back there. You want to get one later, go to AAA, go to Harbor Freight, go to Kmart, go to Walmart. We don't care where you get it, just get it. I love their light. For 4 years, this has been my main Christmas and birthday present throughout my family and friends. First year I gave 6 away. Next year I had 22 people ask me for one. Next year 17 people. Last year I gave 12 away. I love this light. I got a big family. They're $20 each if you get them at the program. If you go to AAA, they're $35 and they're in a little clamshell. I don't care where you get them, just get them. Number 3, crime, home burglary. Been the fastest mover up the crime scale in America 5 years in a row. Went from 12 to 8 to 5 to 3. It's going to pass auto theft this year and become the number 2 crime in our country. If y'all been watching ADT commercials, home burglarized last year every 15 seconds in America. That's 4 per minute if you add it up. Last year in the state of Florida, 42%, up from 38%. 42% of the home burglaries went through unlocked doors or open windows. Once again, that is a problem y'all can really help law enforcement out with. Please lock up your homes. Don't care if you're taking a walk around the neighborhood to get your morning exercise, taking your pet out for the morning walk, going in the backyard to do some lawn and gardening, leaving your garage door open and your front door unlocked, jumping in your car to run to the convenience store to get the gallon of milk you ran out of. Lock the door every time you leave. Do you know the average time of burglars in your house, according to the FBI studies, is only 3 to 8 minutes? How long does it take you to get to the convenience store and back, or take your pet for the walk? At least 8 minutes. Also, when you're at the convenience stores, please take the keys out of your cars and lock your cars. Got to have deadbolts on all entry doors. You don't think you need a deadbolt with a pry bar in 3 seconds. So stick this between the door and the jamb, pull it back, push open, and pull open the door. Now, we also now want you to put a deadbolt on the door coming in and out through your garage. The garage door has moved to the number 2 burglary entry point in America the last 2 years. How many of y'all have garage doors at home? Got a garage door opener. Has the little rope with a handle at the bottom that releases the garage door from a track in a power outage. When your garage door is open, the rope and handle's hanging in the middle. When the garage door is shut, the rope and handle is hanging 6 inches inside at the top in the middle. And the criminals have figured it out. They don't have a code thing. All they do is come and push in the center of the garage door, fish a coat hanger through the crack in the middle, grab the rope, pull it tight, it catches the handle, they pop it, and it releases your garage door from your track. Open up the garage door, back their vehicle in, shut the garage door, load their vehicle up, push your garage door button, and pull out without being seen. 3 simple measures to keep this from happening to you. You might want to write these down. It is now note-taking time. Green sheet is yours to keep. First, install a deadbolt on the door coming in and out through the garage. On that door, we actually recommend a double key deadbolt. That's the one with the key on the inside, key on the outside. That is the only door we recommend that for. We don't recommend them for all the doors because of the fire hazard. Second, when you go home from work tonight, the very first thing I want you to do is walk in your house and get a pair of scissors or a knife. Come out to that rope and handle and cut the handle off. Leave the rope so you can still release the garage door, but if you cut the handle off, it's not going to catch the coat hanger anymore. It's that simple. We also recommend when you leave town or go away on vacation, shut down your garage. Newer garage doors have those little slide bars that slide out with a little hole at the end. The hole's for a padlock to go in. If you don't have a newer garage door, go to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy you a 2-pack of the 3.5 or the 4.5-inch hasp padlock. That's the padlock with the big long hoop. Run them through one of the holes and one of the grooves on each side and lock them. Now, I suggest whenever you put padlocks in, reach up and unplug your garage door opener or turn your circuit panel off. So you do not do like dumb Brian did. Come back from your vacation after driving 14 hours from the mountains, pulling at 4 a.m. and instinctively reach up and push your garage door button with padlocks in your track. If you do this, your panels fold in half and snap in front of you. And they cost $224.50 a piece.
Not covered by warranty.
Not covered by the warranty, right. Now, the number one entry point for 25 years is a sliding glass door. How they break into the slider is they simply walk up and lift it up out of the track. Or they take their pry bar, go to the center of the door panel and pry it straight up. A couple of other things that don't work, then I'll tell you how to fix it. That broomstick or bar handle is stopping them from sliding it open, not from lifting it out. Those little plastic things that stick to the door and the flap comes down, called the bandit bar or the burglar bar, the guy who made those should be arrested. Criminal sees that on your door, he's going to reach his hand into his pocket, take out his lighter, heat the outside of the glass 5 seconds, the adhesive tape will melt and it'll fall to the ground. The pin, all they did with the pin was lean into the outer door and hit it where the pin's at, and the pin shoots right out of the hole. Best lock you can buy for your slider, if you've stayed in a hotel or motel in Florida in the last 8 years, you've seen these. They're called patio door or sliding door loop locks. This bracket mounts to the inner frame wall of the house. This bracket mounts to the edge of the door panel. You put them at the same height and they simply connect. It'll keep them from sliding the door open because this side is 4 inches and it has a locking catching device at the bottom. It also keeps them from lifting it up and out. Now, if your door moves in either direction, you got to put one on each end. Only one door moves, the other door is permanent, one on that end. If you have a pocket slider with 3 panels and they both move, one on each end. You have the pocket slider that disappears into the wall, only one at that end. You have the 4-panel slider that meet in the middle. This one on one door and this one on the other. This lock will work for every configuration. If you can work a Phillips head screwdriver, you can install it. It'll cost you $5.50 at Lowe's, Home Depot, True Value, or Ace. It's called a patio door or a sliding door loop lock. If you go into the hardware aisle at Lowe's or Home Depot, where they have all the little knobs and handles, this will be on the shelf and a box behind it. A little plastic bag comes with the 2 brackets, 8 screws, and the center bracket. Now, best sign you can buy while you're at Lowe's or Home Depot, $1. Big dog, little dog. I don't care if you own a dog. For $1, you own a dog. You're laughing. We learned this from the criminals. 2009, the FBI made all the prisoners in the American prison system take a test. One of the questions on the test, what made you avoid house? Do you know that over 75% of all the prisoners in every prison across the country said that if the house had a dog sign, they never stopped at it? For $1, that's a great deterrent. Get you a few dog signs. The sign worked for the criminal driving through. For the criminal knocking doors, you got to go one step further. Next time you go to the pet store, Walmart, Kmart, go to the pet department, get you the biggest dog bowl they sell. One you can bathe your little dog in. Keep it filled with water outside your front door and write Killer or Rambo or Cujo or Jaws or Spike, something mean on it. Don't write Seminole on it. They'll think you got a wimpy dog, break it anyway. Get you a big leash and a collar to go next to it, and now you'll have the same effect of my big Rottweiler without the $250 a month food bill. Yes, she's great home security. She's a police-trained canine, goes 135 pounds, eats a 45-pound bag of food every 8 days. Got a great joke for y'all. Burglar's breaking into this house, got his flashlight in his mouth. He's ruffling through the drawers. All of a sudden he hears, Jesus is watching you. Stops what he's doing, looks around. Dumb burglar goes back to ruffling through the drawers. About a minute later, Jesus is watching you. Stops what he's doing. He takes his flashlight out. He shines it around the room. All of a sudden he hits this big parrot cage. As soon as light hits the parrot, Jesus is watching you. Burglar goes, what kind of fool would teach their bird how to say, Jesus is watching you? Parrot said, same fool that named the Rottweiler over there, Jesus. Sick 'em, Jesus. For you single ladies, I want you to go to the thrift store or the Goodwill store. I want you to go to the men's shoe department this time. Go buy you 2 pair of men's used 13 or bigger triple EY work boots. Keep 1 pair outside your front door, 1 pair outside your rear door. Put a little mud on them. For that criminal knocking doors, he's now going to think you got a big dog lives there and a big husband lives there and he's home. And if nothing else, you're going to be the talk of the town with all your lady friends that stop by to visit you. Leaving a radio or TV playing, radio on a talk radio program, TV on a talk show. This simulates 2 different conversations in 2 different areas of your house. A couple things you can do to make your house a lot more impenetrable. They make a film for your windows called safety film. Always gets a lot of attention during hurricane season. People call it hurricane film. That's illegal. It's called safety film. How many folks have seen the TV commercials where they shoot the 2x4 into the slider? That's an 8-foot 2x4 shot into a slider 15 feet away at 125 miles an hour. Now, how many companies have actually passed that test? 5 of 36. And none of those 5 passed it without a structural sealant bead around the edge. The 5 that have passed it with a sealant bead, Johnson, Beckhart, 3M, Suntech, Hanita. Now the good news, 4 of those 5 are major sponsors of the task force. They were actually how we were able to keep the program going 6.5 years ago. Tell them you attended the program, they'll give you 50% off. 3M will give you 25% off. All 5 will let you mix and match clear, light, medium, or dark tints. All 5 will give you the sealant bead at no extra charge if you tell them you attended the program. So make sure you mention you heard about them through us. Or if you would like us to get them in touch with you. Bottom of your white sheet, little block says safety and security film. Check the block. And I can tell you, I put it on 4 houses in 18 years. I just moved to my last house in Riverview July 26th of last year. My electric bill on a 2,500 square foot house with 12-foot ceilings last month was $104, and that's the highest it's been. It's been ranging 60 to 70, and I keep my house at 72 degrees. Check into it. It's really good stuff, okay? Everybody asked me which one's on my house. Hanita Tech's on this house. Hanita Tech was on the house I had before that. Becker was on the house before that. Johnson was on the house. Whichever one was cheapest when I bought that house, I'm loyal to my wallet. They all have lifetime warranties. Hanita Tech is actually the Israeli company. What do the Israelis use safety film for? Bullets and bombs. Check into it. It's really good stuff. The reason we talk about the film is you put the film on the windows, it makes the windows in your house like the windshield in your car. Normally, I have a window with me. Last time I was here, I had that window. It takes me about 200 to 250 hits with a hammer, full swing, to break the window. It's really good stuff. Number 1 way to keep a burglar out, have a home alarm. All alarms work. Everybody asks us, what's the best alarm out there? The one you got in your house. We don't care who you get. All alarms work. For an alarm to be effective, it's only got to do 2 things. Wake you up, run the criminal away. What's the most effective part of any alarm that does both those things? The siren. The louder your alarm, the better it works. You know the least effective part of any alarm, according to the FBI in-depth study? The monitoring service. What's the most expensive part of any of your alarms? So you want to make your alarm more effective, make it louder, cancel your monitoring. Have them come out and mount you 2 extra sirens. Face one at your best neighbor, one at your worst neighbor. See which neighbor calls you first. I guarantee you they'll both call you for free just to get you to shut that thing off. Tell your neighbor if they call you, don't get you at home. Call the police and report a burglary next door. Do you know that you'll actually get a 5-time faster response from your sheriff or police department if your neighbor calls to report it than the monitoring service you're paying money to? Neighbor calls, priority 1 call, 2 units dispatch, code 2, lights, no sirens, average response time 2 to 4 minutes. Average time the burglar's in the house. Monitoring service calls to report a monster alarm signal, exact same resident. Because of all the false alarms, priority 4 or 5 call, 1 unit sent, average response time 17 to 28 minutes. Average time the burglar's in the house. I'm going to show you a great portable system. Our military developed it. The main reason we endorse it is because it's portable and it does everything the FBI says it needs to do. I bought one the very first time I seen it. I can tell you in the last 18 years, every member of my family has one because it's easy to use. And prior to having this, I had ADT, and I averaged 15 false alarms a year with my Rottweilers running around the house. With this system, you bring it in, you plug it in, and you turn it on and off with a remote control. This box will do from a 100 square foot hotel room to a 4-floor, 4,000 square foot, up to 16,000 square foot building. When you're leaving your house or you're going to sleep, you push lock. When you're coming back in and you're waking up, you push unlock. It works under a principle called aerodynamic pressure change, meaning when a criminal breaks in, I don't care whether he cuts through the glass, breaks the window out, pries the slider up, or kicks in the door. When he breaks the insulated barrier of your house changes air pressure. When he does it by force, he creates shock waves. The two together will set it off. Not just a change of air pressure, meaning your AC, furnace, and fans coming on and off doesn't set it off. Not just a shock wave, meaning you getting up in the middle of the night and going to those two favorite places. Somebody just came in the front door of the building out there. Let me ask you, would that wake you up? Now, if you weren't home, it will go off for 3 minutes. If you're home, you just find your keys and turn it off. I like it because my dog running around don't set it off. I also like it because I live on a big lake. My last 3 houses have been on a lake. I like to sleep with my windows open sometimes. How many of y'all like to sleep with your windows open? This system is so advanced, it'll even work on open windows. I also like it because I've moved 4 times in the 18 years I've had it. Never had to buy a new alarm, just took it to the new house. There's one little knob on the back to adjust for sensitivity. Has a 3-day battery backup. Criminal tries to break into a perimeter door or window. Now, one other feature I really like, because my 15-year-old daughter is starting to like boys, that is not funny. Anytime somebody opens a door and it's not in the arm mode, you get the little door chime. Lets you know someone's going out or somebody's trying to sneak in. Real important with teenage girls. You move, it moves. If Guardian Alarms bought the patent rights to the Department of Defense, they regularly sell them for $11.95. That's $1,195, not $11. They regularly charge 2 years of monitoring at $34.95 a month. Now the good news, tell Guardian you attended the state program. They'll give you a $300, 25% discount. Tell Guardian we told you don't get monitoring, because we're telling you don't get monitoring because the FBI tells me to tell you don't get monitoring. But if you want monitoring anyway, they'll give you full monitoring, $19.95 a month. They'll give you medical alert only, $15 a month. We don't recommend it unless you need it for medical. My mom had her first slip and fall. I had hers in my system hooked up to medical alert the next day. When she had her second slip and fall, the doctor's like, she has to go into a nursing home. I'm like, no, she don't. I built a new house out in Riverview with a mother-in-law suite, and I moved Mama home last July. Unfortunately, she had a massive heart attack October 20th and passed. Everywhere she went from the time she had her first accident, she had medical alert at her fingertips. If you'd like some information, we actually have the systems available at the program, but we don't care whether you get one of these or ADT or Brakes or Security Link or Sonatrol or EMG or Safe Touch. We don't care who you get. Get a home alarm and get it before the fact. Do you know when most people get home alarms? 3 days after they get robbed. Number 4 crime, person accidents and muggings. Where are you most vulnerable? Parking lots. What do we recommend for you to protect yourself? The same thing every officer in America uses. Not the gun, pepper spray. Right next to every police officer, every county sheriff, every highway patrol, every federal law enforcement officer in the country carries one of these cans right next to his gun. What does that tell you? It works. A 1-second burst will stop an attacker 45 minutes to an hour. What happens when you hit them with this? It's actually kind of fun to watch. Can I get a volunteer? Preferably a Seminole fan if there's one of those that want to meet to it. Any Seminoles in the room? I wouldn't admit to that either. Okay, Ohio State fans will work. Y'all stole my coach. Any Ohio State fans in the room? I need a guy. There you go. Come on. I can tell you, going through the academy, worst day of academy training, the day they spray you with pepper spray. I was an airborne ranger. It put me on the ground for an hour and 2 minutes. Matter of fact, knowing I'd live from being shot and I have 2 Purple Hearts, I'd rather be shot than sprayed with pepper spray. I can also tell you I've seen it used in the line of duty 47 times in 20 years. Worked every single time. Been to 24 cases where I know a lady's alive because she had one of these little things on her keychain. And in our opinion, every lady in America should have this on their keys, because ladies, with this on your keys, you're now equal to 10 250-pound men. But it ain't gonna do you any good on your keys in the bottom of your purse or in your vehicle. Criminal comes running at you, you can't say, hold on a second, let me get this thing out of here. It ain't gonna work like that. You need to get your keys out. I go one step further with my family. I love these because they have a 2-year shelf life. So every other year, this takes all the women in my family off my Christmas shopping list. But I tell them, have it ready in the parking lot, meaning have it out of your purse and take the safety off. Right on, left lock. It's real easy when you're not in a panic. Have you ever known anything to work easy when you're in a panic? Get it ready for you need it. We're not saying you got to walk through the parking lots like this. It ain't that bad out there. That will keep people away from you, though. If you've stopped in a bad neighborhood, you get out of your car like this. You watch them, they'll be like, crazy lady, stay away from me. You just carrying it in your hand is the best deterrent. They come running at you, aim low, go high. You want to hit them here, aim here, work up. Natural tendency if somebody comes in and attacks you is they come in lower like a football tackle. So they teach us at the academy to aim low, work up. They come up and grab you from behind, roll your wrist back and squirt it right over your shoulder. They go running by and grab your purse. First let them have the purse, then let them have the spray. The little police ones will shoot 10 to 15 feet into a 30-mile-an-hour wind, penetrate through 3 layers of clothing. When it hits the skin, it feels like gasoline on fire. You inhale. As soon as you inhale the vapor, you're done. You got mucus and snot coming out of your nose and mouth faster than you ever thought possible. Then you can walk up and go ahead and finish the can off on him because he took your purse. That is not necessary. However, y'all can get away with it. In law enforcement, we're only allowed to use 3 seconds worth on the creeps. I can tell you, most officers I know, we count real slow. 1001, 1002, 1003. I can also tell you in all 24 cases I've been to where a lady has used one, it worked every single time. In all 24 cases, the can was completely empty when me and the deputy or officer I was training got there. One I remember most vividly happened over in Claremont. I remember this lady because of her accent. I'm a country boy in case y'all couldn't tell. Mine sneaks out. This lady was visiting us from Tennessee or Kentucky. And if you're from there, I am not picking on you. She had the cutest accent I've ever heard, and I'm a country boy. We come pulling into the Winn-Dixie. She sees the cruiser. She comes running out to the cruiser, and she's like, officers, officers, call an ambulance, call an ambulance. He's going to die. He's gonna die. I was so scared. I was just going and going and going and going. I couldn't stop. She was still going like this with a can in our window. We're like, give us that. We like to have died laughing. We're like, calm down, ma'am, calm down. He is not gonna die. He's not gonna die. We finally got her calmed down. We looked over at that punk. He was saturated in this stuff. She had a 4-ounce can of bear spray in her purse. And when he grabbed her purse, she had that can in her hand. And she unloaded that whole 4-ounce can on that kid. He's over there screaming, my skin's peeling off. We're cracking up. You think we felt sorry for him? We felt sorry for us. We had to put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of the cruiser. We literally had to ride with our heads sticking out the window the whole way to the jail. We did get even when we got him to jail. We said, make sure you go in there and take you a nice hot shower. That opens up all the pores and everything runs down. Make sure you get police strength. Make sure you know that all pepper spray has a 2-year shelf life. Make sure you know there are 3 places you can't carry pepper spray. They'll take it away from you. And they are as follows. You're not allowed to carry it onto the carry-on part of the airplane or through the security gate at the airport. You can put it in your check-in luggage, get out at the next airport. Airport parking lots are notoriously high for crime. People travel with lots of cash and no way to protect it. Second, you're not allowed to carry it through government buildings, courthouses, amusement parks, or social gatherings like concerts or sporting events, the Bucks game, the Lightning game, the Rays game. Heck, the Bucs defense could probably use this. Maybe they could stop somebody. I've been a season ticket holder since the beginning. I can complain. Last is students in public school, high school and below, aren't allowed to carry them on the campus. They are now legal and allowed on all college campuses for students, faculty, and staff after what happened at Virginia Tech. And they are legal and allowed for all faculty and staff on elementary, middle school, and high school after what happened at Sandy Hook. This is also what we recommend for active shooter situations, where if you're like in the Orlando situation, make sure you get police strength. Do not, this is the one thing we do not want you to bargain shop for. Do not buy pepper spray at Walmart, Kmart, Target, Circle K, 7-Eleven, Discount, Pep Boys, AutoZone, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Big Lots, or God forbid the flea markets. 3 reasons, here they are. All pepper spray has a 2-year shelf life from the date the can is made, not the date you purchased it. How long did it sit at Kmart or Walmart's warehouse? That's why police ones, the manufacturing date the can is made, is always stamped into the bottom of the can. These were made 6/15 of 17, so they're gonna be good till 6/15 of 19. Second reason, a lot of those cheap ones spray out a mist. Guess what happens if the wind's blowing? Little one will shoot 10 to 15 feet, straight stream, penetrate through 3 layers of clothing. The big ones shoot 25 to 30 feet, penetrate through 3 layers of clothing. The main reason we tell you don't buy those cheap ones, does anybody got a cheap one on their keychain right now that you got at Walmart, Kmart, or the dollar store? Anybody got one? Amazon. Get it out. I always like this, okay? If you read the fine print, actually, you can barely read the print. I will tell you, just because I know the Amazon model, it is 1% police string pepper spray, which should tell you 99% something else. What do you think the something else is? Water. Now, they give you a big number on the package and on the Amazon page, and it'll say 10 to 12,000 Scoville heat units, or the stronger ones are 12 to 15,000 Scoville heat units. Anybody know what a Scoville heat unit is? If you're a cook, you know that number. Pepper. The black pepper in your pepper shaker on your table at home, 5 to 8,000 Scoville heat units. Jalapeno peppers, 10 to 12. Habanero peppers, 12 to 14. Tabasco sauce ranges 10 to 20. Hot sauces range 10 to 50,000 Scoville heat units. Hottest pepper we are known to cook with is called a ghost pepper, 50 to 100,000. So that tells me the ones at a department store are somewhere between a jalapeno pepper and Tabasco sauce. Spray that on some guy high on crack or heroin or cocaine or Oxycontin, and if it don't stop him, he's gonna kill you. Police strength, 3 million Scoville heat units. When we actually went to a 3 million from a 2 million base because of crack cocaine and Oxycontin. This also has the identifying dye so we can see them with our helicopters for 3 days. Now, because of that, I'll tell you, these usually run you about $25 to $45. The big ones will run you $45 to $75. Because the state wants you to have them, at the state task force programs, they make police string pepper spray available to the public wholesale. Keychain models are $15, which is what the cheap ones cost at Walmart and Kmart. The one at Amazon was what, $9.99? Second reason, the big ones are $25, normally run you anywhere from $45 to $75 at the state program store, $25. Now, I like to call the big one the men's model, because it comes with a belt clip. And we know us men are not gonna put one of these on our keychain, but we're used to keeping plenty of stuff clipped around our belts. And we know you ladies ain't gonna put one of these big bulky things on your nice pretty outfit, but you got 10 things on your keychain right now. And this could save your life. I also call the big one the home model because it has a flat bottom base. You can set it by the front door, take it to the bedside, or get you one for the front door and for the bedside. Rule number 1 in home protection, don't open that door to a stranger. If you're one of these people who don't listen to rule number 1, and you know who you are, you go to the door every time, hello, who is it? First, stop doing that. But if you do that, get you a big one and get in the habit of getting it down and take the safety off. Now, if when you turn the doorknob, wham, they come barreling in and knock you back. You may fall back. Guess who has the better surprise? Aim low, go high. And because he came into your house, go ahead and empty the whole 45-second can out on him. Hey, y'all can get away with it. Did y'all know that Hillsborough County for the last 2 years is second only to Los Angeles County in the country for home invasions per capita? Number 2 in the country. Now, I also call the big one the walker, jogger, biker model because it gives you more distance for bad dogs. Do not saturate a dog with pepper spray. You'll kill him. I'm a dog lover. I'm a canine officer. I run my canine around the lake at 4:30 or 5 a.m. and at 11 o'clock at night. Twice I've had to put a line between my dog and a gator. Once was about an 8-footer, once was about a 12-footer. Both times it put the gator back in the lake. Both times my dog went yelping home because she got a little bit on her tongue. She drank a half a pot of her water before I got home. She was fine. I used it just a couple weeks ago on a water moccasin. I just found a gator in 3 pieces in my backyard the other day. Little 4-foot baby. My dog had it in 3 pieces. Head in one corner, middle in the middle of the fence, and back. Yeah, she was letting the other gators in the lake know that that's her yard. Make sure you get police strength. Now, if you want to get them here, they're 15 and 25. You want to get them later, find your local police supply store. I can tell you where everyone's at in Hillsborough County. I've lived here for 40-something years. If you live out in this area, probably the closest one is going to be Fletcher and Dale Mabry, right next to Anthony Scuba. There's in that plaza right there. Going down Hillsborough, parallel to Hillsborough, before you get to Dale Mabry on the right-hand side, there's a road that runs behind the car lots called Beltram. There's a police supply store right there. Out on Dale Mabry, just before you enter the base, the Army Navy surplus store. The shoot straights are all police supply stores. But I'm going to tell you, don't walk in the door and get, and out in Brandon, Patriot Arms at Parsons and 60. Don't walk in the door, because these run me $32 with my deputy discount. They'll run you about $45 to $50 at Patriot Arms, which is where I usually buy my supplies at. But don't get sticker shock. You're putting your life into this thing's hands. If you want to get them today, you can. If you want to get them later, just make sure you go to a police supply store. Don't get sticker shocked and then go buy those cheap ones, because you're putting your life into this thing's hands. I don't know where they're at. Shoot straights on Pinellas are, but easiest way to find your local police supply store, call your local sheriff or police department, ask them where they buy their supplies. Or there's an easier way. Find your local Dunkin' Donuts and pull up on the deputy sitting there. Ask them where they buy supplies at. It's not the donuts, it's the coffee. Now, the number 5 crime, and we're done, is hotel, motel, kick-in robberies. Across the country, it's been number 5 for 2 years. 300% increase in kick-in robberies in hotel rooms across the country. Actually, in the state of Florida, we have had a 400% increase the last 2 years. And tourism is the number 2 industry in this state, next to agriculture. The hotels we're having the biggest problem with here in Florida, pretty much it's holding true across the country, are any hotel where the parking lot backs up to the hotel room door. It is always safer, and we are always going to guide you as citizens to stay in hotels and motels where you enter and exit your room through interior hallway lobbies. If you travel and stay in hotels and motels, how many of y'all ever fly in the airplane, look in the magazine in the back called Sky Mall Magazine? Had all the neat little travel gadgets. One of the ones we've recommended for a long time, they're called door wedge alarms. They work under a 9-volt battery, just like a smoke alarm. They were designed for business travelers who stayed in hotels and motels a couple hundred days a year. Got everything in and out of the car, ready to go to sleep in the hotel, lock the door of the hotel, wedge it under the door, turn it on. 2-inch door wedge with a grip strip, so if you wedged it under the door, they ain't gonna be able to kick the door in. They move the door. Now, they're for when you're in the hotel room. I've actually had people get these and use them when they're at homes at night. They use them in the front door, the rear door, and the sliding door track. If your doors open inward at home, you could use them for that. If your doors open outward, they will not work for you. I have people get them, then get home, and they send them back to the office and say, I did not tell you. So I'm telling you, and it's on recording. I've had people get them because they were the caretaker for a spouse or a family member who had developed Alzheimer's or dementia. This is also one of those gifts that Uncle Brian has given to my nieces and nephews in college. I got 8 nieces and 6 nephews in school right now. Do y'all know that college kids move almost every semester? When I went to school, I stayed in one apartment for 4 years. I swear, every time I go to Florida, 12 of the 14 very bright. They all go to Florida. The other 2, not so much. They went to the other one. I still love them. They just ain't smart. They take after their dad. Every one of them got one of these. and they use them in the dorm rooms. They use them in the apartments. 3 of them are in a house together at Florida. They all use them in the front door and rear door when they're all home. When they're not home or when they're entertaining their company, they use them in their bedroom doors. So they do work for other purposes. Now, Sky Mall went bankrupt. You still can get these at AAA, at the travel stores, in the hotel traveler section. I will tell you, before you walk in the door, there were $45 on Sky Mall. There's still $45 at AAA. The good news for y'all is Sky Mall went bankrupt. Their headquarters was in Orlando off of Cimarron over by the International Airport. When they went bankrupt August of 2015, they had some 26,000 of these in inventory in their warehouse. The state, through the bankruptcy seizureship, was able to go in and get them. While we have them available, I think we're down to 6,400 last I checked, you can get them through the state task force for $25. If you want to get them later, go to AAA, or you can call and get them later. Okay, I hope you've all enjoyed the program, have you? Yes. Have you learned a little bit? Yes. I'm going to handle questions now. Any questions that I can answer that I didn't cover? Anything at all? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, pepper spray, if you use it once, it's usable again?
Yes, if you only use 1 or 2 seconds, you can use it again. However, I will tell you, the state started this 30 years ago when they started the program. If you ever use the ones you get from the state task force, if you get a copy of the police report and send it with an empty can back, we'll send you a brand new can for free. We've done that over 3,100 times in 32 years, so. Empty it out on them because you're not going to know how long you sprayed it. So go ahead, once you use it once, even if you get them at a police supply store, if you use it, go ahead and get you a new can. Any other questions?
I took one of your door stops with me to Columbia on a recent trip. And this is not meant to say anything bad about Columbia. Just that I was out of the country, and I took one with me, and I put it underneath my door when I went to bed the first night. I forgot that it was underneath that door. When I opened up the door the next morning to go to breakfast, it scared the living shit out of me. I can tell you the next night, I put it there again, but I remember the next morning that I had it there.
Yeah.
Wake you up.
They will wake you up, and they'll get you. The good thing about it is it stops that kick-in burst robbery from occurring. Because I don't care how many guns you have. If you don't have time to get to it, focus on the target you're coming at, it's not going to stop them. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about security cameras?
Security cameras are great, okay? Just make sure, like I said, the least effective part of any alarm is the monitoring. If you can have them where they go to your phone, you can always call 911 and say, I got a burglar in my home, I've got it recording right now on my phone. They'll send 2 units with their lights on, sirens off, and they'll get there faster.
Wireless or hybrid?
Wireless or hybrid. My friend's the tech guy over there. He installs security systems and stuff like that for CVS and Walgreens and all that. He can answer more questions if you had him on cameras. We were in the Rangers together. We've known each other since we were 8 years old, so he can answer any of your tech questions. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Couldn't you use that doorstop at your front door?
Yeah, people use them all the time. Front door, rear door, and in your sliding door tracks.
How do you do it on the slide?
You either put it in the track of the door, or a lot of people will take a piece of Velcro and put it on the bottom and Velcro it to the door, and that way it stops the door from sliding, and if they move the door, it sounds a siren. Any other questions? I'm going to stick around afterwards. I'll be up here, he'll be there. If you want to get any of the products, flashlights are $20. We got plenty if you want to get them as gifts and stuff. The wedge alarms are $25. Peppers are $15 and $25. We can accept all forms of payment, checks, cash, credit, or debit. If you want to get them today, you can. If you want to get them later, go to your green sheet, call the numbers at the bottom. If you have one of those green sheets with a website at the bottom, they shut it down. It was crashing 4 days a week. You can call one of those 3 numbers. There's 8 girls that work in the office. They'll send it to you, but don't go to the website. It's shut down. If you want to get them today, you can get them today. If you want to get them later, call the number. If you like this program, do me a favor, take a second to fill out your white sheet. It's how they pay me. The number 2 question is for me. The number 4 question, if you belong to a business or another homeowners association or any other group, you want to bring this program, we have a 30-minute and a 45-minute program, so we can do either one for you. If you want any information, check the block. If you want to get it today, come see me. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Okay, real quick, yeah, Brian, say something? Yeah. So earlier I said that Choice is out of business. I got a copy of the letter at the Choice Clothing House, another internet company.
Let me grab your
So I just want to let everybody know.
Oh, Mike. Okay.
Great job.
Please stay away from the internet. You know.
There you go.
Thank you.
Everybody enjoyed it. I tell people every 18 months to 2 years,
That's
because we do
perfect.
updates.
That's awesome. Good deal. All right, guys. 11:45, we're going to roll? Okay. So if you guys want to stick around for Sarah's stuff, which I highly recommend, please do get a chance to stretch, check some messages, come back, and if we don't talk to you before, we'll see you guys in August. Have a great day. Thanks.
They're great gifts.